Hey, what's happening everyone? FM Journeyman here and welcome to the season preview for the 2017-2018 campaign for Weston Super Mare. So last season obviously we were promoted to the Vanarama National League. Let's take a look at the preview for this season. Now these are the teams we're up against, as you can see. Let's go take a look at some of the preview. The media thinks that Morecambe are 92 favourites to win the league, followed by Cheltenham to get promoted back up to League 2. Now at the bottom, as you can see, we are currently predicted to finish 22nd in the table. That means relegation. The bottom four are relegated from this league, and we've got odds of 550 to 1 to to try and win the league, which is not going to happen, let's be honest. But hopefully we will compete, and I'm hoping for a nice mid-table finish. Somewhere between 10th to 17th would be ideal. So some of the key players to look out for this season in the league. Let me see, we got Mitch Hancock, apparently 23-year-old side player from Macclesfield, left back. Then we have Tom Barkhuizen, apparently a very, very quick striker for Morecambe, valued at 135,000. Then we have Jamar Loza, who looks pretty talented as well. Looks kind of a quality striker, Jamaican international, currently plays for Maidstone. So those are the top three players apparently that we have to keep an eye out for. I don't know if we're mentioned at all in here. Probably, yeah, Elliot Richards, yep, not a surprise there, and Luke Purnell. So yep, not too bad there. Let's go take a look at the first team squad. Now this is after all the contracts have expired, and this is how the first team looks on the opening day of friendlies. Today we play Huddersfield at home. This is how we look for the pre-season. Let's try and break it down position by position so it's a little bit more easy to see. So goalkeepers, I've got about 3 goalkeepers I use: Will Brett, Luke Purnell and Liam Kington. Kington and Brett are non-contract deals. Luke Purnell is the permanent number 1 choice. Will Brett will however challenge him. As you can see, potential is much higher for him. Defenders, look at defenders real quick. Now I'm including the reserves in this just so you can see a bigger picture of the options we have. So at right back, Richard Bryan will probably start at right back this season. Joe Steele, obviously a centre half. Actually, you know what? Let's stop here. Let's go talk about some of the transfers, because there's been a few additions to the team. As you can see, these are players going out, these are players coming in. Christian Smith was our first sign in the preseason. He's just a very, very versatile ball-winning midfielder. Plenty of experience, 29 years old, played for AFC Telford last season. As you can see, just a very solid ball-winning midfielder, nothing spectacular, will definitely just be a rotation player. Then we have Roe Turner, who is a left-back and also plays centre-half as well, just as comfortable. Very well-rounded centre-half, great mental attributes, solid physical, technically not so great, but it doesn't matter. Pretty good player. Torquay played for Torquay last season, only made 4 appearances in the league, so I'm hoping he'll do a better job for us this season for us. And he's a very talented player. I'm sure he got plenty of games. Then we have Jack Lane, is another centre half that can play left back and right back. The reason I wanted to try and bring in more quality defenders was that we've got quite a few younger players. Joe Steele, Jamie Horncastle are below the age of 20 years old, so they're not very experienced. They may go up and down this season, so I wanted to bring more experienced players, and Jack Lane fits that really. Played for Tamworth last year in the Vanarama North, 24-year-old talented player, so happy to have him on board. Then last but not least, Dan Sweeney joined us. He played in the Vanarama National League last year for Maidstone, only made a couple of appearances, but he's a very talented playmaking midfielder, as you can see from his attributes, and I'm sure he'll play well. I'm sure he'll be a good signing for us. Going out, George Kello didn't really play much. Joe McClellan didn't play a single game. Ashley Kington left us. Unfortunately, he was a bit upset he wasn't getting a lot of first team football, so I let him go. Then we had Jordan Williams, the Maltese international left back. Again, didn't really improve, didn't get much of a game. We have too many options at left back anyway, so I'll let him go. Sakani Simpson, who played a lot of games for us last year, but didn't want to re-sign him on the contract he wanted. Jake Morford also left us, another centre midfielder, and then Kane Ingram as well, another centre midfielder that wasn't going to get a lot of games. Now, I know the fans are a little upset by this one because Kane Ingram is kind of a club legend. As you can see, he's made, how many games for the club was it? He made 151 appearances for the club in his time and 28 goals. So he's been a great servant to the club, but honestly we had to move on from him. He didn't play very much, if at all, last season. But yeah, 5 appearances, didn't play much, just rotation player. We got to get better players in, and I wanted to try and save on the wage budget. So anyway, back to the squad. Take a look at the squad. This is the head of pre-season. As you can see, it's very, very deep. Plenty of options there. We got Brian, who can play right back. Joe Steele can play right back. Burton. Right back is probably one of our weakest areas right now because Burton is definitely more of a centre half, as is Joe Steele, but Richard Bryan will start off there. So I'm going to have to look maybe to bring in a younger right back just to go understudy to Richard Bryan. Centre half, we got a million options there. Roe Turner, Lane, who we spoke about, Joe Steele, Jamie Horncastle, Clayton Fortune and Chris Barker have both come back to the club as player coaches, and obviously Pierce Mitchell is another centre half as well, who's definitely worth keeping an eye on. Very professional player, lots of determination. I really think he could make that 5-star potential if he puts in the effort. Also, yeah, Theo Briley can also play as centre half, and Christian Smith as well. At left back, we've got tons of options there. Obviously, the signing of Roe Turner, he'll be starting off at left back for us this season. Then Matty Parsons returns to us. He's on a non-contract deal this time. He was actually being paid, I think, £150 a week in the last season, but he wanted to be signed, but only a non-contract deal. So Matty Parsons comes back again. He gets another shot. And obviously, Sakuna can play left back. Thompson is back as well. Again, he's got plenty of potential. Didn't play very well in the games he had last season, so I'm hoping he'll make some steady improvements. Let's go to the midfield real quick. This is how I have in midfield. Now, it's a little bit on the thin side, in quality and in numbers, just because the players that we had last season who look really good in the Vanarama South are not really going to do so this year. James Fitzgerald obviously returns for us, as does Perry Ryan, Theo Brearley. Dan Sweeney obviously joined us. He's probably our best centre midfielder at this moment in time. We also still have Willie as well. Now, he's apparently touted as one of the best young players at the club. He's actually listed as a hot prospect, so it'll be interesting to see how he develops this season. Then obviously Sakuna can play left midfield, centre midfield as well. He's going to be a very important player. As you can see, he plays anywhere on the field, apart from goalkeeper, I guess, but plays anywhere very comfortably, so his versatility is going to be extremely important. So I'm looking to bring in maybe one more midfielder of kind of Dan Sweeney's class and quality, just to make us a little bit more competitive, because obviously winning the midfield battle is going to be key for us this season. Let's go ahead and take a look at the strikers, last but not least. Now, as you notice, again, it's a little bit thin in quality. Obviously, Charles returns to us, Jake Watkins. Elliot Richards is still with the club, despite interest from a number of teams. As you can see, some of these actually play in the league, so if they put a bid in, he's pretty much gone. He's in a non-contract deal still. I can't get him to sign a new one. I'll show you what he's asking for. He's asking for £1.3 thousand a week, and that's something the club cannot afford, which is a bit of a shame, but oh well. So Elliot Richards, obviously. Connor Deards has returned to the club, as has Jake Watkins. Connor Deards took a little bit less money than he initially wanted to stay with us, so that's good to see. On the backup, then we have Sam Smith, obviously a non-contract striker. Didn't do much in the last season. Of course, scored a few important goals for us, 3 goals in 14 appearances total. Then we have Elliot Charles, didn't play much in the last season, only 4 goals. He actually got injured, so that kind of hampered his progress with us. Then we have Matty Boateng. He was one of our youth prospects. He was a potential 2.5 to 3.5 star player. Again, not quite sure what I'm going to get from him in the long run, but he's a player I've brought in just to see what he can offer. He scored plenty of goals last season in the under-18, so maybe he can get a few this season. Then last but not least, Sid Camper. He's a left back. He can also play up top. He scored plenty of goals in the reserves. I actually played him one game. Didn't play that well on it, so we never really returned to it. So a striker is definitely another area I'm going to have to look to improve. So basically the centre midfield and up top are going to be areas I'm going to keep an eye out for. Speaking of that, take a look at the budget. So I haven't spent much of it thus far. I've only got 1,000 left in the transfer budget, which is the initial budget, and I've got 2.54 thousand a week left on the wage. So that's plenty of wage to work with. So I just have to isolate what players I want to bring in, because I don't want to bring in too many, because that means I'll have to retrain everyone on team cohesion and tactics. I'd like to bring in 1 or 2 more players in each position, maybe for midfield and obviously up top, and then that should really avoid us from having to retrain everyone in tactics and team cohesion. Let's talk about finances real quick. Unfortunately, the club took out a loan to expand the stadium to up to $4,500, and it's put us heavily in debt. As you can see, we're negative $33,000. At the beginning of the preseason, we were negative 15, so we've actually doubled that. That's not a good sign. I've set up a few friendlies to try and help us with the financial issues. Mainly Huddersfield, Swansea, Sheffield United are all going to get us at least £10,000 £500 in kind of profits from those, and the other ones are going to get at least 2,000. So that's going to help us along just a little bit. Obviously, I've cut up the friendlies I've set up. We're going to lose, obviously, against Huddersfield, Swansea, Sheffield United. But the other ones I've set up kind of gimme games to try and get the lads a bit more confident ahead of the season, which opens up against North Ferriby. So there you go. That's a quick look on everything. The tactics are still the same from last season, as you can probably see here. Playing a 4-3-3 formation, a 4-4-2 is being learned as a backup just in case. I'm not going to mess around with the focus of the players and the positional roles. Just because things went so well for us last season, I want to give this tactic another go in the Vanarama National League. It's the first time we're actually going to be playing the Vanarama National League, believe it or not. So I've done a lot of work in the Vanarama North and South and a little bit in the league, but never in the Vanarama National League. So it's going to be a very interesting challenge, one I am definitely looking forward to. But the next video will be up against North Ferriby away from home after preseason has complete, and I'll give you guys a rundown in that episode of any transfers we have made. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the season preview for the 2017-2018 season. Again, my goals are just to avoid relegation. Finish anywhere in the mid-table area would be ideal, and hopefully we can improve the club finances just so we don't go into bankruptcy or administration further down the line. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.